Great job. Now I'd like to ask back up on the stage Bill McGinnis and Todd Strickland. We're now going to do a panel discussion. And this is really an opportunity for you to ask questions, so get your questions ready. But before we do that, gentlemen, any of you have something to say? Do you know Mike? That would help, huh?
One of the key aha moments for us through our processes, and especially in California, we experience a lot of workers who have English as a second language. The key moment for me was when Jose Maria Rodriguez was in the process of giving us a definition, or he was explaining the value stream map. He couldn't do it in English, but he did it very well in Spanish. And the way that he did it, and the way that I sat back and heard it, and heard it interpreted, I went, oh my gosh, we've got a new leader out there, and he's strong. So you get to, it just opens your eyes to see so many key individuals, and those are the core that help us drive our company. And to see them engaged was just amazing.
Great.
Trust the system, trust the process that works.
Great. Bill, how about you? Got a comment to make before we give these guys a chance at you?
Well, not really, but I'll always make a comment. No, I guess a couple things is one, it's for me listening to these folks present on the manufacturing. They're certainly building parts, but recognize we're also a service organization, and we use the same lean principles. A process is a process, so it's as applicable to a service organization as it is to a manufacturing organization. And I really mean this. I think the C roadmap was a fundamental process to really allow us to execute strategy. And it works for a service organization. And the results of it, as I said, have been tremendous. But we're not done, and we look forward to achieving bigger and better and greater results.
Thank you. Thank you. Todd, how about you?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to address the comments on involving the worker, the people out in the trenches actually doing the work, and I believe it's very important that they're included. But I think it's also important that we as leaders are included. I believe the term is Gemba, where you actually have leaders going out, getting their hands dirty, getting in the trenches, learning and communicating, collaborating, and really being involved from a leadership so that they see that not only is it important, from the management standpoint and their involvement, but all the way up. We all need to be involved. We're all in it together. And from that, we can learn a lot.
Great, thank you. And Mario, how about you? Comment before we get? No, I'm good. You're good. He's good. He just spoke. So now I'm going to ask the audience, how about some questions for the panel members? We have microphones in the audience, so raise your hand so that either Jeff or Joe can get you a mic. Don't be bashful.
I'm curious, it may be for each of you or whoever is interested in answering it, but describe the moment when you said, good enough is not enough anymore, and I need help to get to where I need to be. Describe what that moment was for you, and how would you transfer that information on to others that may be interested?
Mario, you want to take a shot at that one first?
I had a lot of lean training and had conducted and facilitated dozens of Kaizen events in my past, as had Ken, and we had a really good lean strategy. We had a really good lean vision of where we wanted to be, and we lacked a little bit of structure, and that's where C came in with the roadmap. But my aha was, we need help, but it wasn't external consultants. It was, we need the floor operator to be engaged and aware and involved. And that's when we said we have to deploy it down, so every Kaizen event, every success, we have to have the hourly operators involved. So our aha was, we got to get the operators involved. And I think that was a great direction.
Yes. Yeah, it's always key to have. And people talk about deploying it down. We're not deploying it down. They're deploying it up. You know, they're the experts, they're the ones that know their job. And to give them the credibility and the trust to allow them to do that. And for them to trust us enough that we're going to be using their ideas. You know, every time I go into a Kaizen event, my engineering background is the same, like Doug's, is that we're going to go in there with preconceived ideas. We're going to have some type of strategy. I mean, it's just how we're wired. And every Kaizen event I've gone into, they've always exceeded my expectations, or what I thought was going to be good enough. And the X factor, if you will, is that I'm always surprised and impressed. And I have to surrender to the fact that I don't always know it all. And there's always great ideas. And these events exceed my expectations, and it's just so darn exciting. It's great.
Good. Bill?
Yeah, actually, I'll go back 6 years ago. I had an opportunity to take over a company that was in business for 44 years, 6 years ago as CEO. And we were on a burning platform. I mean, we weren't growing, we were having margin issues, and frankly, we weren't really proud of our customer service orientation. But we knew we had a workforce that was dedicated and loyal because we had pretty good employee retention. So we actually started down the road. So that was kind of the first thing, Frank, is, okay, boy, you recognize you're in trouble, and what do you need to do about it? So we got the executive team together in Boston, Massachusetts, and we really, we said, look, we need to do a lot of things different. Marty Dress is in the room. He always says to me, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same things over and over again and expect a different result. So that kind of hit home. But so we actually, in our journey, we actually focused on developing a strategy. So we developed a growth strategy, and we're looking at company attributes and how to compete on those attributes. But we struggled. We knew it wasn't enough. And then I was at a conference, and I heard, 9 out of 10 companies focus on strategy, as I said earlier, and only 1 out of 10 execute. And I got exposed. It was a meeting. I was driving to a strategy conference, an NTS strategy conference in Temecula, and I got I think an email from Mickey about the C thing. I didn't know what it was. Yeah. I didn't even know it was a roadmap. So I stopped in and I listened, and I said, oh my God, that was my aha moment. This is the tool we're missing to execute strategy. It was aligned with our strategic initiatives, but it was really the tool we were missing to create a committed workforce. We had an involved workforce, and we had some really nice folks. But how are they committed? And if they're committed, are they aligned with our strategy? And that's where the communication piece started to evolve and develop. So it's been an evolution, but the aha moment was, first, the burning platform, and I recognized we had an issue and we had to change. And the second thing was, that's not good enough just from a strategic viewpoint. We need to execute. And since then, again, you heard we were at about $75 million in revenue. We're up to 160. We've actually grown halfway through acquisitions, but also capturing market share. And we want to dominate on capability. So we want to build the best capability to service our clients year and year. So it's working, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about our aha moment. Canyon has enjoyed very, very high quality and very high delivery for many years. In fact, we just won Boeing Gold this last year. For those of you who don't know, it's perfect quality and perfect delivery for 12 months, 12 executive months. So it was a real achievement. Also with our larger, Boeing is rather a small customer for us. Even with our larger customers, we're qualifying, we're performing to gold, 98, 99% delivery and 0 ppm. The interesting thing is, or the aha is, yes, we're performing and we're doing this great work, but what are we doing to impact our cost? How are we going to gain more of the market share, which was the theme of the presentation? And my solution to that back in 2004 was to get into lean manufacturing. And what we've seen and what I've shown is we've taken some really cutting edge manufacturing techniques and really reduced our costs. And again, I'm very proud of what we've done and how we're doing it. I think the industry as a whole should start looking at some of these principles. And I don't say that from a place of from an egocentric place where I'm just worried about myself. I want the entire industry, not just aerospace, but manufacturing in the U.S. to adopt some of these principles. We need to get jobs back to the U.S., and I think this is the way to do it.
Great, great. So how about another question? Right there? Okay.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you. Could each of you address briefly the incentive or the reward systems that you use to get all of your employees engaged?
We have a rewards and recognition program where we identify anybody who's given us a suggestion, and we'll help them write out the suggestion. And again, with English primarily the second language for most of our workers, things are in Spanish as well as in English. It isn't so important that the suggestion's a greatest suggestion. We go with quantity versus quality, but once you start getting that quantity going, there are some things that glean out of there. Once a quarter, we have a rewards and recognition meeting. And what we want to do is we give people tickets for every suggestion that they gave us. So we had 45 new suggestions that we got from our value stream mapping event. And so we had 45 more tickets to hand out. Now, some people got more than one, some didn't get any. However, we had just remodeled our office, and we had some really cool furniture that we didn't know what to do with. So we had a silent auction and auctioned off each one of those events. So we put a little cup in front of each one of those little items, a sofa and a love seat, a recliner, tables. We had redone our lunchroom, so we had refrigerators, microwaves, and they were used, but they were left over. And then we always have 4 envelopes. Those 4 envelopes have different delineations of cash in them. And we have a real fun event. We have the entire team together, and we draw the numbers out of the hat, and they get that recognition. They get those rewards. And the first time it was kind of, people didn't know what was going on. The second time, they were more into it. But all of a sudden, most of the tickets went all to those envelopes. But some of the other gifts were really good. So it was exciting, it was fun, and it was like, we had our event we had finished up our Kaizen event on a Wednesday, and we had that rewards and recognition that following Friday. So it was immediate, it was consistent, and the guys, they knew they were engaged. We saw in their eyes that they were happy, that they were proud of, first of all, their involvement, and that they got rewarded for what they did.
Great, great. Bill?
We have our standard, what I'll call the financial reward system, where you certainly give back a piece of the earnings back to the employees, and I think it's important and necessary. But I think it transcends beyond that. And how we approached it as we value streamed our organization, we actually took an enterprise approach. And we figured, we got 24 locations. We can actually do some best practice comparisons within locations. And what we wanted to do, our goal was to standardize processes not only at each location, but standardize the process across the enterprise, so we can actually start sharing, cross-training and sharing employees where workloads are up and down. So what we also did is we developed a structure where we brought folks in from different divisions to join this enterprise team. And talk about committed, I mean, these folks have to travel, so we have meetings in some nice places, and we certainly teach them the skills. So as we started to roll this out to standardize process across the enterprise, some of the benefits were people really appreciated, that they were involved, they were recognized, and they could actually develop relationships with folks that they clearly didn't even know had no relationships in the past, but had the same issues. So talk about a motivated workforce. I mean, it's just not only financial rewards, in my opinion. It's also respecting folks, giving them opportunities to shine, and then you go from certainly an involved culture to a committed culture. So we think about the other things we do. We also, our culture is a work hard, play hard. We recognize our client demands on our employees are pretty significant because we usually get products near or towards the end of the process. And unfortunately, a lot of times our clients are already behind schedule and they need us to work hard and work really hard and long, and we do that. So what we also do is at the local levels, you know, it's not uncommon to have the managers have those Friday afternoon cookouts where they invite clients, we give something back to the employees. So it's both a financial reward and also I would call a respect and a recognition reward based on some activities.
Great, great. Todd? Okay. Okay, so another question.
My name is Carlo Mears. I'm with GM Nameplate. I just wanted to thank you for your time. Appreciated that. And I guess it's very informative. One thing that I would share, because we're all in the same industry, and I believe one of the comments was, if we can, you know, help everyone else, we help the industry. This is going to sound like a plug for Boeing, but I was thinking about it when this was going through. If y'all have the opportunity, I highly recommend it's worth the investment for your company, for yourself, to be a part of a Boeing value stream team, because it's very informative. It's an incredible amount of value. It's for the life of the team, and it'll allow you to, you know, take some best practices away from an organization which I believe does an exceptional job. So, but that's not my question. I just wanted to share that. And you know what? The PRAs, actually, they're going back to 2 or 3 tiers. So ask about that if you get asked by your tier 1 or your customer who is a tier 1. Huge value. My question to you gentlemen is, in your journey in Lean, how do each of you within your organization use the visuals to enhance your sales with your customers within your organization? Because I think that's a key element that each one of us can do. How do you position yourself where you can showcase your efforts so your customers see that and they appreciate what you do without sending the message that you're increasing your margins so they can get a lower price? That's my question.
Tough question. Who's first?
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, that we always are very, very happy and excited to have our customers visit our facility. We're very proud of what we've done. We've done a lot in the last year in our involvement with C with becoming more visual, creating dashboards, showing metrics, dramatic increases in metrics, actually, as I showed our increase in internal delivery schedule. When customers see things like that, they are really excited about what they see. I've taken folks through the cell that I described earlier and showed how we've gone, from 5 or 6 operators down to 1, and reductions in costs, and the reaction is always extremely positive. In fact, Russ Mayborn from Sunstrand came through last year, just before this meeting, and he saw what we were doing, and he says, "Todd, you got to get up there. You got to give a keynote. You got to talk about what's going on here because it's really good stuff." And so I guess there's not a formal letter that's going out calling out metrics or anything like that, but we do practice having customers come in absolutely as frequently as possible to showcase some of the things that we're doing.
What we're doing at NTS is an area of focus we have on the strategy map, or an objective is really understanding our customers' emerging needs. So we look at our customers truly as a partner, and what we like and how we like to grow the business from an innovation platform. We'll make investments on capital and on people, but we don't like to do it from a speculative standpoint. So if we can get in with our clients and really understand what their needs are, what their hot buttons are, and then build a business around that, we think it's a winning strategy. So we certainly are open and transparent, and hopefully if we're open and transparent, so on our customers be, and like I said, that would be the winning strategy. But again, we do focus on, we do have existing capability, we focus on market share and market penetration, so we have a national sales organization, And part of our training institute that we just formalized is to really train our sales folks on understanding our clients' current needs, understand customer service, and really get out there and provide a service that's of value and of meaning. So again, as part of that, it's allowed us to take our test services, and right now, a big void that we've identified in the marketplace, and we're trying to work with our clients, is there's some voids in test planning, test development. So we've actually hired some aerospace engineering folks that are out there driving some support services just on the planning and process stage. And we'll work with some clients. We've just got some pilot programs to work with our clients. So again, if we think like that and we behave like that and we respond to our clients' needs, we think there's just tremendous opportunity for growth. So that's how we think about it.
I tell our customers that with MPC Industries, you get peace of mind, and you're buying peace of mind. You get the highest quality, the shortest lead time and on-time delivery. So having that conversation around those topics, and they walk out into the shop floor, and I think they all just go, wow, because you would expect the grinders, the first thing you see, you would expect just a dusty, dirty, grimy grinding operation, and it just looks very clean. In the last month, I've walked out 3 times. I've walked out more than that, but I've walked out 3 times, and there was somebody mopping. And one time it was with a customer, and he goes, why is that guy mopping? And I said, it's part of our culture. Nobody wants to have a dirty floor in their area. And he goes, who's the guy mopping? And I go, well, this guy right here is the lead man. And we went over to shipping and receiving, and there was another guy mopping. So I think that they see the improvements, they see the culture, they hear the strategy. When price comes, there's a cost to that. And it's a cost that I'm comfortable looking at the customer in the eye and holding my ground. There is a cost to developing your employees. There is a cost to sending your employees or providing 50 hours or more of training per employee per year. There's a cost to upgrading your machinery and equipment. There's a cost to having a project that entails 10 employees. So we are reducing our costs. We want to stay competitive. And all the cost reductions counter the cost increase that the company incurs. Our healthcare goes up double digits, insurance goes up 9%, workman's comp goes up, a lease goes up every 5 years for us. So what we're trying to do is, in anticipation of all these cost increases, reduce our costs so we can remain cost competitive. That's story, those visuals work for MPC.
Okay, great. Now, in an interest, one more question. We want to stay on schedule. So, question. Okay.
I want to thank everybody first for sharing their experiences. My question is, do you perceive that there's a situation where you've deployed these processes and you're going to pick off the low-hanging fruit? Are you concerned about what's going to happen next once success has been deployed and the impactful Kaizens have been run through? Is there going to be a perpetual pipeline of new things coming along, or do you think the most impactful cost reductions will get processed and then you'll be looking for the next thing to keep up the momentum?
For MPC, my strategic analysis, the fourth quarter of each fiscal year is very important and very key. And there's several things I look at, and that's the industry trends. I look at economic forces, global economic forces. I look at the marketplace, and I look at our customers. There is never consistency or lack of volatility in any of those forces. So, I mean, month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, all those forces are changing. So even though we have a 3-year strategy, something can happen mid-year, and that will just throw you off in another direction. So it's always volatile, it's always changing, and it's always evolving. And so our organization has to be nimble, trained, and ready to respond to that. So I would say, even though we may achieve great success, We may have dialed in, leaned out processes, but if our customers want something quicker, better, faster, larger, smaller, with different criteria, that's going to drive some quality projects, some changes in our process. But more than that, we want to be anticipating changes in the marketplace or with our customers and make sure we have those processes, process capabilities. So to me, it's an evolving, moving target, and you always have to be prepared.
I was kind of sitting here, Dan, thinking, God, I hope we get to that day. But right. I'm not sure in my lifetime, so I'm not so worried. But no, I think Mario has it right. Assuming, and I'm just thinking about assuming you got as lean as possible and you stripped out all your costs on all your processes. And I think that's a big assumption. But if we got there rapidly, what's next? And clearly what's next, and I mean, this is the needs of our clients are always going to continually change, and what you need to do is be flexible enough to, create capability and capacity to handle those ever-changing needs. And the other thing that I think about is, again, we talk about if the aerospace industry, if all suppliers could start to adopt some of these principles, and we could, really have a wonderful supply chain where Dan and Frank and Hal could really get some benefits from. I think that'd be great. The unfortunate or the reality of things is not everybody's going to do that. So I think this gives us a competitive advantage.
It does.
And a considerable competitive advantage. And not that I don't hope for that theoretical wonderful supply chain, but the reality is there's going to be folks that are going to stay in their old ways. And that just creates opportunities for companies that are in this room.
So I'm going to ask for a round of applause so we can stay on time. Everyone. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you.